I decided to upload this clip to YouTube today to describe my experience as a mixed race individual after having lived in the country of Argentina. Argentina was the most racist country I have ever lived in outside of the United States. And that is frankly a bold statement to make considering the United States of America is one of the most racist countries on this planet we all have to share together. There wasn't a single day that went by while I lived in the country of Argentina where someone would not appear and display some form of racist microaggression toward me. Racism in Argentina is not as outspoken as it is in the United States. Argentines do not run around in public calling people niggers and coons and monkeys and gorillas unless they are at a soccer game. If you really want to see how racist Argentines are, then just watch one of their soccer games. They will chant racial slurs at the black players. They will hold up racist signs. It's absolutely disgusting. And if you talk to an Argentine that lives in Argentina and you ask them where they are from, they will immediately respond to you by telling you that they are from Europe or that they are from Italy, because that is the response that I always received. Anytime I would ask an Argentine, are you from Argentina? No, I'm Italian. The funny part is that most of these racist Neanderthals have never even left their country. These insulated people have never left Argentina, especially under today's current economy, because the economy in Argentina is an absolute disaster. It is the modern day version of what Venezuela was 10 years ago. Well, Venezuela is recovering today, but Argentina is sinking right to the bottom of the Atlantic, and I really hope it does, because it was one of the places that I most regret having lived. I actually lost thousands of dollars that I had to forfeit because I got so sick and tired of the bullshit that I had to deal with while living in that country that I dumped off my apartment. I dumped off everything that I bought. I packed up my suitcases and I got the hell out of the country. And after I left Argentina, I never had another bad experience again. So it wasn't me being hypersensitive to racism, but in reality, that Argentina is disgustingly racist. Most Argentines identify themselves as being Italian. If you ask a local where they are from, they will tell you that they are European or they will tell you that they are Italian because they have some ancestor from 200 years ago that was born in Italy, so that automatically makes them Italian. The funny part is that most of these racist Neanderthals have never even left their country. Most of these bastards don't even have a passport, and the ones that do can't afford to travel anywhere other than Brazil, Paraguay, or Uruguay because their currency is worth a shit, and nobody earns in dollars or euros in that country. So the only people that can afford to travel to Europe are the upper class and rich, and most of the upper class and rich from that country don't even live there. They actually live in Europe. Racism in Argentina is not as outspoken as it is in the United States. It's not like America where racist white people are running around calling people of color niggers and monkeys and coons and spades and gorillas. Racism in Argentina is very cryptic. It's coded. It's displayed through racist microaggressions. One of the most popular racist microaggressions that I experienced in the country of Argentina, one form of racist microaggression that I experienced every single day without failure is coughing. And to give you some context about what coughing signifies, well, to my knowledge, this all began during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. The entire world blamed China for COVID-19. And people would start coughing at Asians basically to say to them that they are a virus. Well, there's a comedian in the United States that absolutely hit a bullseye when he went onto Twitter and said that coughing is the new N word. So, in other words, instead of calling someone a nigger and getting your ass kicked, you could just cough. And everybody that understands what that means will know that you are calling that person a nigger. But someone who does not know that will not realize what is happening around them. But it happened so frequently that I started investigating what this actually meant, and I found out that it meant nigger. Okay? Because these people, these cowards, do not have the balls to call people niggers to their face. Argentines love calling people negro de mierda, which is basically a black piece of shit. Now, the locals will claim that it's just another insult like any other insult out there, but it's actually a very racist insult. And Argentines are in a complete state of denial about the racism that pervades that country. Argentines are in denial about everything: their culture, their history, their ancestry, their economy. And Argentines think that they are God's gift to mankind. Argentina is the only country in South America that excludes itself from the rest of the continent and proclaims itself to be a part of Europe, despite being over 5,000 miles away from Europe, despite the fact that most of these Neanderthals have never been to Europe. Argentines consider Argentina to be a part of Europe. Another racist microaggression is a Nazi dog whistle. Now, I didn't understand what this really meant until I also figured out that that's another coded way for Argentines to passively display their racism towards someone. I received a lot of backlash from a handful of black travelers that claimed that they went to Argentina and had a wonderful time and that they experienced no racism. Well, here is the reality. When you travel to Argentina as a person of color, you're generally going to be in the tourist areas. You're probably going to be staying in a hotel, and you're immediately going to be identified as a tourist. And when you're identified as a tourist, everybody wants one thing from you. They want your dollars, they want your euros, because their economy and currency is worth a shit, and they're not going to get money out of you if they call you a nigger or a gorilla or a monkey or a coon or a spade. And most people of color that come from the West, the United States, Canada, or the United Kingdom or Australia, they do not speak Spanish. So they do not know what is going on around them. They don't understand what coughing means. They don't understand what the Nazi dog whistle signifies. I would never return to the country of Argentina. In fact, I hope that country sinks to the bottom of the Atlantic. It's an absolute embarrassment to South America. Argentines should be absolutely ashamed of themselves. They all identify as Italians, and let me just state something for the record on this clip. I have lived a very long life, and Italians, hands down, are the most racist people I have ever met in my life. In fact, when I lived in the United States, it was the Italians that were the most racist, not the American whites from the south part of the country. It was the Italians. I lived in New York City, and Italians were shockingly racist. Everybody knows that Italians are racist, and no matter where the Italians go, no matter where the Italians migrate to, they bring their crime, corruption, violence, ignorance, and racism with them. Fuck the Argentines and fuck the Italians. Because I'm so sick of this shit. It's 2023, and you would think that people would grow the fuck up and judge people based upon their character and not the color of their skin. Well, it's no wonder why that country is a complete disaster zone. And once again, I can't wait until Argentina and all of its racist population sinks right to the bottom of the Atlantic.